Hi everyone, this is a presentation for Education and Student Experience Conference at the University of Brighton. And in this presentation, I will be talking about gamification and work-based learning, which combine to make a new educational strategy called GWBL. And in the presentation, we're going to look at the project overview, which describes what the project is about. We're going to look at implementation details, which include how to run such a project in the context of computing. And finally, we're going to look at various achievements for the past 2 years. This project started off as a scholarship project for the Center of Learning and Teaching, and it combines two core components, which are work-based learning, which is a strategy that aims to improve employability through authentic practical experience, essentially focusing on students who perform tasks that are very close to those they would be doing at their workplaces. And also gamification, which is applying game design principles in contexts that are not games. And Codefest is an example project, which is an implementation of GWBL that started in 2018. And we'll look at Codefest in more detail in the next slides. So the project aim for Codefest is to improve employability. And in itself, it's a monthly software development event that brings together the following things. First and foremost, it's students who are at heart of everything we do at the university, including this project. And it allows us to bring the latest technologies in computer science. For various reasons, we can't include all of the latest technologies in our curriculum. For example, because the field evolves so fast that we can't simply keep up with the area. We also include industry experts who sometimes attend our Codefest events, and they mentor our students. So in terms of implementation, there are 3 things to consider. Teams, who are the students, the learners, the challenges, which are the activities that students perform, and finally prizes, which are the rewards that students get for performing these activities. And these are usually based on how well they perform, which also brings the element of gamification. In terms of teams, we welcome students from all courses, all years. That makes us very inclusive from that perspective, since there are no entry requirements. Students can just come in and attend on the day. We also get industry experts who sometimes are present to mentor students. They provide valuable feedback on how well students are performing. And this brings the element of authentic experience. In terms of challenges, we usually have what's known as reverse engineering in software development. So instead of providing a question for students to solve, we provide a solution. And students will need to figure out what the question is, or what the question might be, and then implement the solution. So to give an example, suppose we have the format input, and then the arrow, and then the output. So we're given 2 and we get 4, given 3 we get 5, and given 5 we get 7. Looking at these pairs of input and output, we can derive a possible question, which is, what is x plus 2? Because if we look at the left-hand side, we can see that we can add 2 to that number to obtain the number on the right. And this is a possible implementation of that question or that solution in a programming language such as Java. Now, in reality, students had to solve much more complex problems. So this is a very simplified example of that, but it captures the idea. So what do they get for doing these so-called challenges? They usually get, depending on how well they perform, various computing devices, accessories, such as Raspberry Pi computing devices, mice, USB sticks, external hard drives, and so on. So these are very practical devices that students get to use on a daily basis. And these are usually sponsored by our school, School of Computing, Engineering and Maths, the CCS Research Center, and the Springboard crowdfunding project, and finally the Brandwatch company, which is a local software development company. So what benefits does this event bring? Well, it promotes teamwork and peer learning, which are fundamental skills in, well, many areas, and particularly in computer science and software engineering. And also students get to experience team-based software development workflow. So on the day, they form teams, whether with their friends or they find someone to work with, and they get to learn the entire software development workflow from idea to final product. Students make industry contacts, which means that they get to know people. And particularly because these contacts are local, chances are that when students graduate, they will be interviewed by these people. And students finally get to utilize state-of-the-art software technologies. As I already mentioned earlier, we don't always have the ability to include this in our curriculum. So this makes it a really great opportunity for students to get to experience this state-of-the-art software. In terms of results, I'll very briefly mention what we've achieved so far. So we started this Codefest event in October 2018, where we had 9 students attending out of 15 registered. And we can see that over the course of 2 years, we've gradually increased the number of attendees, up to 27 in total in February 2020. Where we had also 15 college students. So this is a good sign that we're increasing our audience range. There were no events in March or May 2020 because of the lockdown. So we'll be moving things online very soon, which is our plan for the next year. This is a collection of survey results that were collected after each of the events. I'll just go very quickly through them. In general, the vast majority very positive. The only possible negative statement was related to the dates on which Codefest runs, which can be an exam date, for example, which is slightly tricky because we're open to all courses and all students. That makes it difficult to pick a suitable date because different courses will have different exam dates, for example. But this is something I will consider in the future. And these are our students who attended these events. These photos do not include all the students because not all of them gave their permission to be in the group photo. And therefore these photos only include those who gave their permission. So the plan for the next academic year is to move Codefest online, and that makes it more accessible because we can now welcome students not just from our university, but also from other universities potentially, and other enthusiasts as well. So I will be trying to advertise this on various social media platforms and within our school as well to make sure that we get as many people as we can. On that note, thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any questions or if you're interested in participating in one of the events, feel free to email me with whether it's the university address or if you're watching this on YouTube, then just leave a comment. Thanks.